I was relating my encounter to a servant of our Department of Spiritual Gift of the Spirit, that gather every Thursday at midnight for intense prayer in order to maintain the intensity of fire in our spirit and not lose the oil and weaken. I was telling him how the chief angel Gabriel took me to the celestial world and showed me golden mansion of heaven, and why I did not have a house in heaven like other servants. He laughed as if he knew about it and told me, "The Lord has spoken to us through your mouth while you were taken in the spirit and told us that he has begun a work in your life. What you have seen is just the beginning. The Lord will take you again, but I will not tell you more for fear of scaring you." I said to him, "Servant of God, why do you speak that way? Are you telling me that the Lord want to take me to hell?" He said, "Calm down, Sister Oracle, let the Lord do what he want in your life." I said to the servant, "Despite my return to the material world, I can still feel reverberation in the spiritual level." He said to me, "Sister Oracle, it's because the Lord has not yet finished what he want to do with you." Honestly, I was scared to visit hell. I said, "Lord, I don't want to go and see what Sister Irene had experienced. I will do what you want me to do, but don't let me go to hell." I was agitated. When it was time to pray with the brethren of our department, we were gathered in prayer, and then I felt extremely weak, and then I was invaded by deep sleep that had weakened my body. I began to warn one of the sister that I feel like the Lord is about to take me in the spirit. She wanted to ask me question, but I was already out of my body. I found myself again in this vast space where I saw myself previously. This time I was alone. Previously I was dressed with a garment of white pure, without spot, which had enabled me to enter the celestial world of light. But this time around I noticed that my white garment was not pure and spotless, for I noticed yellow spot on the white garment that seems as if an iron. I saw that my white robe was not smooth but wrinkled, creased. I was stunned and worried. When I looked around me I saw the chief angel Gabriel. What surprised me was that he was keeping a relative distance from me. I told him, "You promised that you will come to take me, and I can see that you kept your words, but why are you standing far from me as if avoiding me?" Gabriel replied to me, "The saints cannot unite with the impure." I said, "What do you mean by that?" That's when I noticed the difference between him and me in terms of outfit and appearance. In the previous visit my white robe was spotless and without wrinkle, just like Gabriel's pure white garment that shone, but this time around my robe was not clean, for it had spot, and it did not shine like that of the chief angel. There was a great difference between the angel pure white garment and my spotted garment. I understood why he kept his distance from me. I told him, "Gabriel, you said that you will come to get me for another experience. Now that you have come, you don't want to come close to me because of spotted garment. How are we going to travel if you keep such distance from me?" He said to me, "Oracle, this time around I will not accompany you where you are heading. You will be alone where you are going, just like I told you. Fear not, because the Lord will be with you." I was scared to hear these words. Gabriel said, "Now move forward." The moment I began to walk ahead, I saw that my path began to get darker. I was entering an extreme dark place. I could not see anything. I was in terror. I did not want to advance. I wanted to go back to get Gabriel to accompany me. When I tried to move back, I was stopped by the thorns. I walked on thorns that tore my feet. I saw I cannot move back, so I have to move forward. As I continued to move forward, I began to hear grinding of teeth, cries of countless souls of men that were screaming, and their screams were piercing my ears. I exclaimed, "Lord, has mercy, this must stop." That's when hands of demon in the darkness with long claws pierced my shoulders, and I screamed because of excruciating pain, asking the Lord mercy and forgiveness. I could not see these demonic creatures because the darkness of the abyss was thick, but they were piercing my flesh with their long claws. Even though I could not see them, I understood I was in the middle of creatures of darkness that surrounded me and piercing my body members. I begged them to stop tormenting me, and the more I begged them, the more insult and abuse they uttered against me. They said, "Stupid human, you were in the world with all the opportunity. What did you do about eternal life given to you?" These demons were subjecting to constant verbal abuse and insult, and they grabbed with their claws and they were dragging me in the darkness where millions of screams of damned souls were coming from. And while they were dragging me with their claws that penetrated my shoulders, My feet and body that was dragged on the thorny ground were torn by the thorns. This environment was completely hostile. As they kept dragging me, I felt that my hands was exhausted and broken, but demon continued to drag me and I was screaming. That's when I saw like a reddish light in distance. I told myself, when we reach that light I will try to escape this torment, but the more I was dragged to my destination the more the heat and temperature was increasing, becoming unbearable. I noticed that I was sweating, and my sweat were heated by the temperature and were burning my skin and injuries. I felt like acid destroying me. I cried and said, Lord, even my sweat has become hot, and is burning my skin and injuries. Demon were mocking and laughing at me, uttering scorns and insult, and the heat was increasingly unbearable. That's when I began to see prison cells. These were the cells that were burned by the heat that came from our destination. These cells were aligned beyond the view in the horizon of reddish light, where I was hoping to escape, but when we arrived to the source of this reddish light, I saw that it was actually the flames of hellfire, that was burning and emitting a great heat, that burned many kilometers of this environment, and every time you sweat, that sweat become heated and burned your body. When we had reached reddish light, of the flames of hellfire, I wanted to see the people that were dragging me. When I looked at the first entity around me, I saw that he was humanoid with a head like a human, but on his head there was no eyes, no ears, no nose, and he was faceless, with no mouth, yet he was continually insulting me, despite the absence of a mouth on his face, and his hand had sharp claws. I noticed that on his back he had two tails, one tail had like thorns, and the other tail was a serpent. I looked at the second entity and I saw that he was just like an ordinary human, for he had a normal face, but he still had a tail on his back, that had the shape of a trident. Both of these creatures of darkness were giants, for my height was on their hip, just like the chief angel Gabriel. They took me and dropped me in a prison cell where it was written, Pride, for every prison cell represented a particular sin that people failed to renounce on earth. When I saw the prison of pride I remember that the chief angel Gabriel talked to me about pride and rebuked me, calling me to repentance. Every negative behavior mentioned by Gabriel was corresponding to a prison cell in this place, and this first prison cell where I was trapped was the prison cell of pride. The two demonic entities were with me in my cell to torture me. They were mocking and insulting me. They said to me, you have believed in that God of light, but when you walk the street on earth, you are full of pride, and you raise your shoulder because of pride, yet you have believed in a God who is opposed to pride. The first entity who was faceless rolled his tail all over my body and lifted me up and threw me on the ground, and hit me with his second tail of thorns on the hip. I was wounded and there was blood. The second entity pierced my eyes, ears and mouth with his tail that was a trident. After tormenting me in the cell of pride, they took me to the cells of mouth, because I was known for having a bad tongue. The tongue also is a fire, a world of wickedness among the parts of the body. It pollutes the whole person, sets the course of his life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. James 3 verse 6, the demon grabbed my tongue with his tail and pulled it, and it became very long. They began to beat my tongue. For every member of our body that sin will be tormented and destroy in hell. If your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than to have 2 hands and 2 feet and be thrown into the eternal fire. When he came out of the prison cell of the mouth, they took me to the prison cells of the eyes, where they tormented my eyes. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 6 verse 22. After tormenting my eyes they took me to the prison cell of the ears, where they destroyed and mutilated my ears. They pierced my ears with fork. We must avoid hearing world music and gossip, and since I walked the street of the city in a seductive way, attracting men attention, they took me to the prison cell of the feet, where they torture my feet. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation. Isaiah 52 verse 7. When they got out the prison cells of the fee, then the demon with the tail of snake rolled his tail all over my body and he lifted me up and he threw me away, and I fell far from where I was with them. But when I fell I sensed that I fell upon something. When I tried to rise up to check where I fell, that's when I saw a black throne, an all-black throne, and behind the throne was a fire burning. I noticed that the fire was violet. When I looked at the throne I saw that there was a character seating on the throne. He was dressed in black suit. This character seated on the throne had an extreme beauty. He had a lot of hair, he had long nails. He was a handsome man. This was the prince of this world, the devil himself. But I noticed that he had very long eyelash. I saw that on his forehead there was the number of the beast 666 and, inside the number 6 were like fire burning. But what struck me was that upon his black suit were the print of all the global brand of design and fashion. When I looked at his black suit, I saw that around chest, there was a logo of the global brand Versace, and I saw the head of Medusa inside the Versace logo speaking to the devil about me and accusing me, but I could not understand what she was saying to the devil. That's when I realized that on my head were hair attachment. I said to myself, I have not used hair attachment for many years, but why is the hair attachment on my head? While I was complaining, the Medusa spirit in the logo of Versace was accusing me, and whenever this female demon of Medusa was accusing me, her hair that were serpents were leaving her head in order to enter my head and torment me. While I was complaining about hair attachment on my head that have become serpent, the demon accuser said, "It is truth that you no longer use hair attachment. But since you have died in sin, even the attachment that you have abandoned have to manifest. If you are wearing false nails it will manifest because you have died in sin. The Lord Lucifer has to see his property on you to certify that you belong to him. He cannot claim your soul if he does not see his property on you. That's why all the makeup have appeared on your face." I was there begging demon for mercy. When I looked at the black suit of the one seating on the throne I saw the logo 360 on his sleeves and 370. I was told that 360 is a brand of a popular shoes, made through human sacrifice. Whoever buy this shoes has entered in a covenant with demon, for it was made with human blood and sacrifice. Then I saw the logo of Gucci on Lucifer's suit. I also saw the logo of Chanel, logo of Fendi. Then the devil who was seated on his throne began to threaten and rebuke me. He said to me, "You are in the world, and you gave yourself the task of exposing my plan and hidden agenda. You thought I will leave you alone when you are exposing me." Whenever Lucifer said a word of threat he would stop and instruct demon to torment me. I cried and begged his mercy but he was merciless. The devil told me, "Do you know that you have won many souls for me when you were still on earth?" I said, "That's not true, I never work for you." That's when he projected a scene, where I was walking the street with seductive outfit, that was attracting men attention. Satan told me, every woman on earth that walk the street seducing men and attracting attention, become automatically my agents, because she is evangelizing for me through her indecent dressing, winning souls for me. For whoever look at a woman to lust after her has committed fornication in his heart with her. I asked the devil, "You said that I was winning souls for you on earth through indecent dressing, but why are you tormenting me like this?" The devil told me, "Any man or woman in the world that work for me, hoping that I will reward him, he is deceiving himself. When that person die, I will torment him even more than those who did not serve me. Any man that said I am against God and his son and I will work for the devil, one day I will betray him. He is the father of lies." The devil ordered his demon to take me to my final cell. Since my shoulders were broken, the same demon pierced me with their claws and began to drag me to my cells. I could hear the scream of countless souls. Then I heard like a roaring of a lion. I said, "Jesus save me." The demon mocked me and said, "What Jesus are you calling? He is not coming to save you." It's when I said, "Lord Jesus Christ, save me," that I heard a powerful roaring of a lion. The Lord came with such a power that the claws of demon in my body were pulled away with force, and the demon were scattered. I was left alone on my knees. The demon stood in the distance complaining and telling me, "You must stop calling that name." When I called name of the Lord again, The hand of the Lord transported me back to the place where I was with Gabriel. My clothes was covered with blood. When I saw Gabriel, I said, "Why did you leave me?" Where I went I was tortured and I suffered. I cannot even raise my shoulders that are broken. He said to me, "The Lord has already warned you that you will experience this judgment. Do you know how you got liberated from that place?" I said. When I quoted the name of Lord, I felt the Lord hand with great wind that grabbed me from that place. He said, "This is what save you." He projected an image before us, where I saw my mother praying, and her prayer was all about me, a strong prayer of authority. Gabriel said, "It is the prayer of your mother that you heard in the form of a roaring of a lion that saved you from that place." Then Gabriel projected a second image, where I saw a scene where we were coming back from the church with my mother. There was a crazy man asking a woman that was drinking water to give him the bottle because he was thirsty. The woman felt humiliated and insulted the crazy man, and since I had a bottle of water I gave the crazy man to drink. He was surprised and said, "God bless you." Gabriel said, "The water you gave him and the blessing that he pronounced is the roaring of the lion you heard in hell." Then he projected a third image, where I saw that I was helping an old person that was struggling to cross the road. And when I helped him cross the road, she said, "My daughter, may God bless you." Gabriel said, "That blessing that she bestow on you is what caused the great lion to roar in hell and set you free. These are the 3 good deeds that caused the Lion of Judah to roar in your favor and set you free. Therefore continue to do good,